breathing, notice if there is anything that seems to grab your attention, or if there is any tension, or maybe even a little bit of pain or aches of us, part of our body, part of our whole being that is asking for attention from us. So we give them attention. Whenever there is tension, give it attention. So give attention whenever there is tension. And you can pick just one part for that. And just stay with that part. Stay with that part that holds some tension or tightness, or even thoughts. You may also have some thoughts that is really occupying you. Just give it attention without trying to change it, without trying to analyze or evaluate it. Just look at it, just observe it, just as you do with any tension in your body. And if you can, send some loving energy, some kindness or some compassion to this part of you that is feeling some pain or feeling some stress or worry. And just let it know that you're there, that you hear it, you see it, and that you're just there with it. And it's okay for it to feel whatever it is right now. And now they have your attention. So just an acknowledgement, just an appreciation, if you can, for this part is trying to work something, to make something, do something for you, always for your betterment. Okay, so just as you do that, as you pay attention and giving attention to this tension, tightening, and remember that there's nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to go right now. You can just be here with yourself, with all parts of you that you may not have given thoughts or attention to for some time. Just you and with your family, with your internal family together. Just being here, all together in the here and now. Nothing to do, nowhere to go to, nothing to think about. Just be here, be in the now. So continue your breathing, take a few more breaths, and just enjoy this stillness. And maybe some of you already feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more centered, a little bit calm, more calm. And when you're ready, slowly feel your body again. Feel the chair that you're sitting on. Feel your body being in contact with the chair. Feel the energy coursing through your legs, through your arms, through your whole body. Feeling aliveness, feeling alive, feeling refreshed and relaxed. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and be in this moment and this here. Now, All right, are we back? Does anyone want to share what they feel or what they experience right now? Maybe just one word, maybe from 2-3 people. Would you like to share what you experience? Okay, I see here Bima said, I feel fresher. Yeah, you can write it in your chat, in the chat box. Calmness, I feel more present. Yeah, I kind of don't want to disturb you because I mean, you're probably feeling quite, yeah, just quiet, right? So you don't have to say it. So if you just want to share, you can just share it in the chat box. Very relaxed, ready, feel more present, relaxed and calm. Yeah, good. I feel great too. Okay. So thank you for doing that with me. It helps me also to be more focused and more centered and present. Now, I think I would like to ask Jay to start. What can we start with?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, that session reminded me of Simon and Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence, right? So those of you who are familiar with the song would know exactly what I mean. I was actually visualizing sitting in a Japanese garden with a golden Buddha under a waterfall. That was going through my mind listening to Miranda right now. So I just thought it was a great way to start. So now from that, what we will go is logically into the flow of things, which is do a quick recap of what we covered in the last session. And here's what I'm going to do. This will just take 2 minutes, but as I tell you, this is what you have covered in session 1. If you were part of session 1, can you give me a thumbs up on the screen after each thing I point out? Or you can unmute and say, yes, Jai, we did that. Are we ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Right. We started off by understanding what is a training objective, which is, of course, we gave an example, which was at the end of this program, you would be able to, and you're to complete that. Example, Miranda and myself, at the end of this workshop, you all would be able to have a better understanding of how to be an effective trainer, not just a speaker. So a training objective is where a logical start. Thumbs up if that was right. You remember it? Yep, everybody? Yeah. Right, we went from that into therefore creating what is known as the training objective is the outcome desired. We went on to creating a lesson to identify a gap analysis. Now, first, gap analysis, thumbs up if you remember that. Yeah. Right, and then from the gap analysis, we went to creating a lesson plan based on adult learning theory. You know, we had a little bit of theory on adult learning techniques and theories and the mindset and behavior. And based on that, we created a lesson plan, which would, of course, ultimately lead to our desired outcomes, right? And the gaps that we have identified. And then we finished last session with trainer methods. There were 5 methods, but we only covered 1, which was lecture. Thumbs up if you remember that. There were 4 more interactive methods we should be covering today. The lecture was the non-interactive one. This is where we stood when we left off last time. This is a quick recap for all of you. And from here on, we'll pick up the thread and we'll move on into what's coming up for this session.
Yes.
So I'll hand it back to Miranda.
Yes. But before we do that, Jay, I think I can't wait for this session. It is about sharing and review.
Yes.
So we're checking in, we're going to check with you. So what did you do about the assignment? And actually what we would like to do to hear from you is how did it go? What worked and what could be improved? And to go into that, I would, Jay and I would firstly like to acknowledge 5 people, or actually probably 6 people. I can mention them. They are starting with Bima Mulyarto. Show your face, or maybe we can spotlight Bima. Bima did this the first, I think not even a week. He has written the speech and then answer the questions and what he did. So just like I was so touched by the work, Bima. So thank you. And then he sent also his video of the recording. So there's Bima, and there's also Harlina. And Harlina has been talking about this for the whole 2 weeks. Like, yeah, 4 people from my club are going to do this, and then they actually create a special session just for them to practice this. And I really, chapeau, what do you call that? Lift my hat off to you, yes. And then I also have a Mala from Eagle. You're here, right? Mala Manurung. And then also Etika, also from Eagle. And then Sofiana, who actually didn't attend the first session, but she caught up. She did all the work, and she also sent the video. And then also from Etika, except from Etika, I didn't get the whole thing, but she still did the work. There must be some technical glitch that we don't only get like a 2-minute video that we can tell it's not quite finished because she was continued going and it just get cut off. So for this, okay, so we have Bima, Harlina, Mala, and Sofia. Sorry?
Arnie.
Yeah, Arnie, sorry. There's Etika. Etika has it full, and but Etika is probably not here. Arnie is the one who has only like a short video. And by the way, I forgot to mention this, and I wanted to say this last time, and I want to say it now. Often you hear this voice, right? And you don't know who that is, and she's like assisting. And I would like to introduce you to this amazing person. We're actually 3 people doing this training, not just me and Jai. I would like you to see. Okay, this is Sharmini.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
She's like the 3rd trainer. Except her name is not mentioned there. So Sharmini is Jay's eyes and heart. So now you know, when you hear that, somebody supporting or guiding Jay, that was Sharmini. So okay, from these people, from Harlina, Sofiana, Bima, and Mala, we would like to hear from you. What was your experience? So can we start with, okay, Mala is right in front of me. Mala, would you like to share? Can we spotlight Mala, please? And just share, what was your experience doing this assignment? And, how is it different from just speaking to now with the consciousness, with the knowledge that you did this lecture, which is like a mini training?
Okay, thank you, Miranda. So basically, my challenge was to find a topic to share in the training. So we actually had a hangout among members of Eagle. So we asked them what topics that they want to cover. We said that it's related to communication and leadership. Then they put some topics, and I also see from the experience in Eagle meeting, and I took the topic is the powerful words. So I don't know, for me, it's like, is it too easy, the topic for them, or is it too simple? That's my challenge, actually. Yeah. And then we did a Q&A after that, for sure, Q&A.
Yeah. Well, so how did you feel about doing that, Mala?
So it's really different between, even though my job is a teacher, I get used to lecture my students, but this one is in front of Toastmaster member who get used to listen to a speech, which has the message, but this one is like lecturing them. So that's why instead of really lecturing them, so I asked them to have a little practice.
Miranda, yes. I have a quick comment. I just have a quick comment to Mahler's comment of, is it too easy? Is it for them? The answer to that question, Mahler, is if it is what they wanted, there's no such thing as easy or not easy, etc. If that was what they required, that was a good topic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I watched it, Mala, and I was really impressed. I thought it was very, very appropriate. And now you said that you had a difficulty finding topic, but actually, what you did a survey first. So the finding topic shouldn't be an issue. You just ask people, what do you want to hear? What do you want to learn? Right? And you did just exactly that, which is basically that was your gap
Right.
analysis.
Anyone else?
Yeah. So yeah, so that's wonderful, and I'm glad you experienced that, and you can see the difference, right, between just lecturing, between just speaking, but now you're kind of like combining the two. And do you feel it has more value, or how does that change for you?
For as a practice for being a trainer, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, relate to the adult learning, I think.
Mm-hmm.
How they
Okay.
interact and discussion.
Yeah, so that's something that you learned and incorporated all this time instead of just being a teacher to maybe kids or something like that. Yeah, wonderful. Great. Yes, Jay, you want to add to that?
I just want to get maybe one more person to share.
Yes. Okay, so that's done with Mala. Yeah, I have Bima here. Bima, would you like to share? I mean, we do. I don't know. If we can do it in English.
Okay.
Yes.
One second.
I want to convey. Yeah, I want to convey from team collaboration role the beginner photography team. I can convey the following: number one, foster teamwork. Number two, generating confidence in communication. Number three, photography.
Bima, I'm going to interrupt you on this.
Okay.
I just want you to share with us your feeling and your experience about that. Jay, you want to add something to that?
I just wanted to say one thing before he shares to all of us here.
Okay.
And that is Bima, he actually shared a session conducted in Bahasa. And I do not speak Bahasa, but I was able to understand what he was doing. So I thought that was very well done.
Okay.
Yeah. So more how did it go for you? You know, like, I mean, what worked for you and what you think could be improved?
Okay, saya akan jabat usually is linguist Indonesia, and then maybe I can use linguist Indonesia. Okay. Saya merasa senang bergabung di FCT karena saya ingin berbagi pengalaman di dalam saya ngambil kolaborasi tim ini. Yang ingin saya sampaikan adalah pertama, yaitu kerjasama tim. Yang kedua adalah menimbulkan rasa percaya diri. Kemudian yang ketiga karena tentang fotografi pemula, bahwa fotografi itu sangat berkembang di dalam media sosial.
Yeah. Okay.
I can translate English. Okay.
Yes.
I try translate English.
Yeah.
Number one, foster teamwork. Number two, generating confidence is communicating. Number three, photography is now growing rapidly on social media.
Okay.
Because I have photography.
Okay. Yeah. The topic. So that's the topic for you, the photography. And how was it for you? Did you enjoy doing that? What did you learn through the process of doing that?
Yeah, that's what he's learning.
Yeah, you can say it in Bahasa and I can translate it if you prefer it. Yeah.
Pertama, I can develop my communication, and number two, I have many friends in the FTT. And then number three, sharing experience, other friends.
Yeah. I love that you start smiling when you talk about more of the experience instead of just like, okay, I want to say this and this and this. So FSCT, maybe somebody didn't catch that, is from speaker to trainer. So Bima said that he enjoyed sharing and I guess meeting people, friends here. So I would say, I mean, from what I saw, it was a great work that you've done, Bima. I hope that enriches or that helps you to be more confident as going to become a trainer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Jay, you want to add something to that?
Well, I just want to know if we have time for maybe one more sharing.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Specifically on if someone really implemented those steps that we had covered last time.
Yes.
Would you have a training outcome? I mean, did you have a plan? Was there a lesson plan? Did you do it,
Yeah, so thank you with Bima. So we're asking now if there's anyone else who would like to share, and if not, I can also ask someone.
Did you do a gap analysis? Anyone want to talk about gap analysis?
Oh yes, somebody actually did a gap analysis training.
Yeah.
Yes. Should I call the
Sofiana.
name, or who is that? Who's speaking?
That's me calling Sofiana.
Oh, you're calling Sofiana.
I think she did
Sofiana.
Would you like to share, Sofiana?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Tell us about your experience. What did you do? What was the topic? And
I missed the first session, but Harlina was very kind to tell me what to, she sort of laid out what I should do. And so I've got some pointers from, I think from Miranda and from Jai. And like saying, for example, keep the opening to 1 or 2 questions, the body and the conclusion and so on, and not use more than a few slides. I didn't have a problem with coming up with the topic because like it's something that is gap analysis. My topic was actually find the gap, right? So find that gap. It was actually finding about the gap that you have in terms of not achieving the goal. So I went on to that. But what I found very interesting was like, I got so much to talk about and I want to talk about everything. And the best time for me really is when I just got out of bed or not even getting out, I just lie flat. Yeah. And I always believe that the blood flows to my brain better then. So, and I got my notebook next to me. And that's when I start jotting down what I see the flow to be in the talk. I went on to put it on paper or onto the presentation slides. But in the back of my mind is always Jai's voice, like keep it simple, Yeah. So the presentation slides went through many revisions, a few drafts, and the more I cut down, I could see the flow a lot better. And so it was actually connecting the start. I started with the 2 questions, like as proposed by Miranda and Jai, and I went on to tie that back with the 2 questions again. I recorded the first time and I sounded like a lecturer, very non-interactive. I was talking to myself and I sounded very monotone. Yeah, very monotone. So I had to record it again. I must say it's better the second time. It's not the best still, but I'm still working on that. Yeah, because as I said, at the back of my mind, there's always someone telling me like, be more interactive. Jai would say, come on, Sofiana, you can do better than this. So maybe with a few more rounds, I can be more interactive. Yeah, so the whole experience is very wonderful. Thank you.
Wow, so Jai was leaning over his shoulders the whole time.
Yeah, no, it was wonderfully said. I just have one comment for Sofiana. Would you complete the sentence for me, Sofiana? At the end of your lecture, your listener would have been able to
have one key takeaway.
Okay, right. On what?
On my topic. So I posted as a question to all to say like, after you've heard my clock, I talk about a clock story. I said, after listening to that and finding that gaps in your performance, for example, is not just due to yourself, it's probably due to the environment. And so what would be the key takeaway from this talk? Right. And to actually find that gap. Yeah, work on that. Yeah.
So for your lesson plan, the best time of the day is early in the morning. Am I right?
Yeah, it is.
Right, that's what I heard. Okay, cool. Miranda?
Everyone, yeah.
Yes. Well, I really enjoyed everybody's production. And I'm just wondering, because, I would love to be able to share it, but we don't have enough time to actually share the videos and to understand, for you guys, for the participants to see, that's how they do it. Because now that after you've learned what we learned last session, you'll be able to pick it up. Oh, that's this, So it's very beautiful. So I'm just wondering if the people who have done it, who have submitted their videos, would it be okay if we share that with the participants as an attachment later. We'll send it by email. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I really enjoyed that. I really thought, wow, you guys really did great job with all this, and I learned a lot just from watching your videos. So yeah, so Sofiana said yes, and Mala said yes. I don't know about Bima, Harlina said yes. Okay, so wonderful. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to a chance to call up Harlina and the other two, but you guys will get a chance to look at their videos in the email that we will send you. All right, that wraps up our sharing and review of the lecture practice. I'm very, very proud of you guys all. Actually, 72 people opened the email and thus, I assume, read the assignments and maybe download the handouts of the first session. So 71%, and I think about 40% click. So I don't know what happens to the rest, but I'm still thinking that was a pretty high number. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go on to a little bit more studying. And with that, I'm going to share my slides, Oops, sorry, that's not how I do it. And yeah, let me just turn the slide on first. Share, is it there? Okay. Just a second. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, so Jay, would you like to take over and continue with the training methods?
Yeah. Well, a quick brief reminder to everybody that we concluded the last session with one training method, which was lectures. And all of you given me a thumbs up already because you said you understood that, you remember that. And some of you are trying to now sound less like a lecturer and becoming more interactive, which brings me to the operative word for the remaining 4 methods. Now, I want you to pay attention, guys. These remaining 4 methods, when I say 4 methods, these are all interactive methods. Lecture was not part of this, all right? So what are these 4 interactive training methods which you could use with an audience or a participant, right? And these are, well, role play, and then you have exercises, you have case studies, and you have demonstrations. I'm going to repeat it just one more time. You have role plays, you have exercises, you have case studies, and you have demonstrations. All of these 4 involve an element of interaction with your participant, unlike, as we just mentioned, lectures. So we're going to look at all of these in a little bit of, in some more in depth. And we will see what your understanding is, or if you have anything to share on your experiences of the same. So let's begin with role play, right? And my first question to all of you is, first of all, what is your understanding of role play? Would anyone like to just unmute and give me a brief answer? What do you think a role play is? Anybody would like to unmute and tell me what is a role play? And of course, I would like to know your name, guys. When you,
Hilarious, Harlina. Is it like acting?
Like acting, you're saying. All right, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's a good answer. Anyone else? Acting?
Here somebody says fitting in other people's shoes.
Yeah, I would not, in my case, I would like you to please unmute and speak to me. I can't read anything on the chat.
That's true.
Yeah. Can you just unmute, give me your name and speak?
Under Ted here.
Yes, please. Yeah.
It's to mimic an actual real life situation.
That's a brilliant answer. That is exactly what I wanted to also, in my words, let all of you know. A role play is actually a real life situation or a scenario which you do within the walls of your training room, unlike going out in the real world and doing it, right? So you create a behavioral situation, which just comes to the next question. Why is it important? Because in a role play, you understand behavior. And I want all of you to know this, guys, because the role play is not just about words and text and, thinking. It's more about how do people behave depending on what role they are playing. So let me just briefly let you know about my own experience in role playing in an industry I worked in India, which was a leading IT industry. I was a senior manager of learning and development in charge of all the onboarding engineers, If there's any word I use you don't understand, please stop me. I'll explain. Okay. And I had to create training programs for all these engineers, some of whom were very, very skilled, top-notch people in coding and programming and all that. You understand that, right? And we had lots of overseas clients across the globe, very important high-profile clients in UK, in South Africa, US, etc. Right? So one of the requirements for these engineers was to go to on-site client engagements, which means they would be posted at the client location. Example, UK, they would have to go to UK and work there. And a training I had to conduct was for all of these shortlisted, maybe 15 to 20 engineers. And here's the operative word, guys. They were already shortlisted. These, after the entire batch of people who joined us, were the people who would be sent. However, there was one requirement. And the client, the high profile in UK said, well, Jai, before we choose them, we'd like to have a word with them. We're going to conduct an interview as to who really are the top ones for us. So what happened? I had to actually groom them for potential interview situations with this client in UK. What did I do? We created a role play. So I said, well, you here are going to be the potential candidate who might be further shortlisted to go on site to UK. You be an interviewer. You tell us what could be a question somebody there may ask. Now, you may not know all the questions, doesn't matter. Get into the feel of things, start behaving like that. And this was very powerful because one became the questioner, one became the answer. Then we switched roles. The person who was asking questions became the candidate, and the other person started asking. End of the day, the feedback you got is they were all mentally prepared for what was to come later because of that role play. Because we created a real life scenario of what could come within the. Now you could all do that within your Toastmasters setups too, if that's what you want. You could create a role play where someone is a potential member, not a member yet, probably a prospect, very interested in your club, and you create a role play, say, one of your members can be the potential member, and you could be the person who's maybe a VP membership, or even VP education, or two of you in a panel. The VP education, VP membership on one side, a potential candidate on the other side. Start. Do a role play of what could the member want to know. Member then starts asking what he wants to know about the club, etc. These are very effective in actually identifying behavioral nuances in why people think the way they do. If it's making sense, what I've said about role play software, give me a thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up, and why this can be effective. Let me also add to all of you right now before we proceed that it's not necessary you always have to have a role play. If it helps and you think it's going to actually nail what you're trying to tell people, do conduct one, because it gives you a feel for the actual situation and how you could answer. You also get to know what your gaps are, where you fall short of expectation, right? Miranda, you want to add to that?
No, not for the moment. I just want to share with you that not every, we have few different interactive methods, right? And each trainer sometimes have their favorites, and role play happen to not be my favorite.
Sure, fair enough. That's why I did mention it doesn't have to be the method, but if it helps you, I've explained from my own life experience. Now we have exercises, guys. The second method. Right. What are exercises? Exercises are something like, for example, you hand out. Let me give an example of some of the exercises we conduct in training, right? A self-assessment form before you begin. Example, where are you right now? Where do you want to go? So you say it could be a rating or scale, it could be a benchmark, and it could be even on rating yourself as weak, average, good, very good, excellent. It could be that kind of rating, it could be a numeric rating, any kind of scale. But this is an example of an exercise. Run it around your participants, run it around your members, etc. And you collect that information to get to know, well, where is everybody right now? Where do they need to go, etc. So this is one example of an exercise, right? Exercises, Miranda, you have anything else that you want to add to that?
Yes, my favorite exercise is usually how to get people to kind of like warm up and get out of their shyness. And usually I do this, a little bit into the training, not as a warm-up exercise, but it could be an energizer. And at the same time, getting people to do like, what is the weirdest animal act that you have seen, and then they have to mimic it. And some people, you can say some of them are shy, but once they're always in a group, they're always the courageous ones, the bold ones, right? Once they start doing it, then the other has to follow, and that usually break a big chunk of ice or shyness, and what do you call that, the like inhibitions in a way, and self-consciousness. And after that, everybody laughs because everybody's funny. And so that's the kind of exercise I do, but it's always related to something. There is always a purpose to the exercise. I think that's the main point. Yeah.
And Miranda, what you just shared is
Berdiri aja. Berdiri aja. Ini
yeah, sorry, Jay, can you unmute yourself again, because we had some noise distraction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I just said what you shared, Miranda, was active exercises, all right? Which is you actually get them to do things, which is very good. You can think of that. Or it was passive, as I said, in the context of getting them to individually think in assessments, etc., in their own strengths and weaknesses. These are examples, right? And you'll be doing sometimes without even thinking that these are exercises, right? Which brings me to the third very powerful interactive training method, which is more closer to storytelling and case studies. Here's where my very capable partner's expertise really shines. So Miranda, case studies.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, this is my favorite method. I tend to, I'm not very smart, not very bright, like in able to remember, in being able to remember a lot of things or a lot of techniques. So I usually find techniques that are simple and easy for me and effective. And I find case study is possibly the most effective ones for me, because it's okay. Let me just explain first. Case study. Like when you go to university, sometimes they ask you to read an article or something, and then you have to discuss it with your group. That is an academic definition of case study. And then you come and you have thoughts, and then you share that and you present it. Well, for me, a case study simply means a real life application of a principle, of something that we've taught. I mean, as a trainer, that principle that we've taught, that we've shared, and then a testimonial, more or less, like something it has been done before and it worked. And when it's packaged as a story, when people say, somebody did that, and that I can relate to that. I experienced that, and then seeing how a certain principle or certain solution is applied and yields a positive result, people will remember that a lot more. So, for example, I teach listening a lot, and through my practice of teaching listening, I gained so many stories from my participants, my students. And those stories become like, I have a bank of stories now, experience when they apply that, how they change life. I find that is the greatest motivator and the greatest incentive for anybody to do a change, a behavioral change, an application of a certain theory or a certain method, because now they see it worked, and it's I can relate to that. I have that same issue or same problem. I want to try that, and then they usually find a good result with that. So why is this important? As I tell, it's as I just said, it is a very important teaching tool, and people relate to the story the most. I think in Toastmasters we hear that again and again and again. Tell a story, tell a story. Tell a point, and then tell a story. So so that's what I can say about case studies. I don't know, Jay, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, sure. I would just like to add to what you said, Miranda, that a case study actually establishes credibility. I want all of you to know that. And it shows your audience or your participant that you have been there and you have done that. and you've learned something which you are sharing. So you are a medium or a messenger because of your own experience. A case study is typically your own. Miranda has already pointed that out. It's your own life experiences, relevant or related to your topic or your training topic, right? But it's very powerful because you actually experienced it, and you condense it, make it show it's tight and crisp, not long-winded, but a very powerful case study can be a very effective way of telling people that you are the authority on this subject because you know what you're talking about. That's what a case study does. Of course, it's storytelling too. So you've got to know how to package it. So to keep it engaging, to keep it interesting, etc. I can just add to it very briefly, Miranda, to say sometimes when I conduct, for example, cultural orientation programs for my trainees, for example, Japanese business culture. Now, I have lived in Japan for 17 years. Some of you may not know that. I have worked there. I got a master's degree from a university in Japan. And so I have enough experience from which I can document into case studies as to, in this situation, this is what he would do. And here's an example of what happened. So I want to just, let all of you to think about starting to maintain a storyline or a case study goldmine data book, guys. Start from today if you have to. Start documenting things that happen in your life that can be converted to stories, which makes you effective in explaining a concept, makes it effective in explaining a concept or a theory. Is it making sense? Thumbs up if it makes sense, guys. Start maintaining storybook, short stories. This is what I did. This is what happened. And business related is very good, right? So once you start doing that, you'll be able to pull it out as a trainer. Just refer to your story. Yeah.
Yep.
So Miranda?
Yes, I also want to add to that, Jay, is that don't worry if you don't have stories, find stories. Like it could be other people's stories, OPS, right? Other people's stories. So you can start building that, and when you read, you find, oh, this story is like very relevant to what I want to talk to people about. Then you keep that, and you'll find like established trainers often use the same stories again and again and again for each of their topics. So they, you see them speaking in different occasions, and the stories are always the same. And sometimes they can angle it a little bit differently to suit the purpose of the talk or the training or the situation at the event at the moment. But you'll see that. And I learned this so much from Papa Green. If you've heard of the venerable late Papa Green, Gerald Green, he has a book. It's called The Magic of Public Speaking, but that's also how he trains. He trained. So every chapter is a section of his training, and he always starts with the story. And sometimes I borrow his stories because the stories were already so perfect and I don't have any better story than that. So it's, you can use other people's stories. So that's
and can I add to this with a very short example in my own the industry I worked with, a short story, which shows you the seriousness of following office rules and protocols. If you all heard what I said, see, we have some guidelines in our office, the one I was working in, and these protocols have to be strictly followed, especially by the new joinees, just been inducted into the industry, right? There is an example of once when all of us are given an RFID card. Give me a thumbs up if you know what an RF card is. Your name and your photo, your ID. Am I getting a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Right? You beep, beep, beep. As you enter the office, the building every morning, right? It's your own card, it's your identity, and it automatically logs in to show your presence, yes or no. Unmute and tell yes or no. The HR no. So HR has your records, how many days you attended, how many hours you worked, when were you in, when you're out. Yes? Right, thumbs up. So now we had this new joinee who, for some reason, once gave her ID card to her good friend and said, could you swipe me in? Because I'm not feeling too well today, but I don't want to miss my attendance. So she gave her ID card to her friend, and the friend swiped her own card and walked in. Next day, HR called both of them and they were dismissed, employment terminated. Now, this is a powerful story because none of these two new joinees expected to be caught, but they were. And this shows what happens if you don't follow protocol. Obviously, it happened because of what was known as CCTV cameras. Oh, yeah. So they were caught on camera because something was not right. because her manager was not getting her presence in the office or able to trace her, but it was showing us present. Anyway, so here's an example of a real life story as a case study to show.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That is short and sweet.
Yes.
And Jay, you speak so fast. That's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, we're trying to really stay on time. So we have one more training methods. Jay, would you like to talk about demonstration?
Sure. Yes, demonstration. And this is, of course, called demonstration, which is also interactive, right? Now, what is the demonstration? It's actually showing to your audience yourself. It could even be as simple as actually using your own body or your own delivery to demonstrate how things can be done. That's basically what demonstration is, right? So we already talked about role plays, which you get two people to do things. One could be an observer. Then we talked about, of course, the case studies. We're looking at exercises. There were active exercises, not so active exercises. Now, the demonstration is when you demonstrate to somebody. I'll give an example. Miranda did that to us when she asked us all to sort of relax and take a deep breath, deep into our stomachs, etc. Close our eyes, visualize. All that is a demonstration, guys. There's nothing more than that. You're all doing it. You're following her. So you're going to look at what can you do sometimes to have an interactive demonstration with your training group. Now, let me just also give an example of your own Toastmaster evaluations. Can you unmute and tell me a yes if you've been an evaluator ever and you agree that sometimes you demonstrate your speaker how it should be done? Give me a yes, anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, don't you
Yes.
tell you should do it this way, you could have done that way. Here's when you could have improved your vocal variety. Here you could have used some gestures. That's demonstration. Every time you do an evaluation, in fact, I would say it's 70% demonstration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
You wanna add to that?
you're doing it so much more often than you realize. That's what I want to point out.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess everybody's clear about demonstration, right? So to recap the 4 training interactive methods, would anybody just like to shout that out for us? 1, 2, 3, 4.
These are the interactive ones.
Role play,
Yeah.
case study,
Yep.
demo,
Yep.
exercises.
Right. Very well. And what was the
Yes.
what was the
Excellent.
non-interactive one? Which was the first one? Lectures. Yeah, lectures. That's right.
Lecture. Yes. Well done, everybody. I just want to answer quickly before we go into the break. The book that I mentioned, it will be in the resource part or at the end of the session. And then the relevance of this picture, very interesting question. We were debating about that before we put this picture. And this is like a demonstration, like how you, what do you call that? Create a seedling. So you show it, you show how to hold it. I think this picture relates to what we meant to say by demonstrating something. Is that clear?
Not only this one, Miranda. Thanks for addressing anyway. The slide before that, there was a picture of a pretty girl. So I'm wondering, what's the objective of that pretty girl to the topic at hand? Sorry, I asked.
What if I say, just to have a break so that you guys can all look at a pretty face?
No, honestly, I was distracted.
Okay, I can tell you.
Because I was distracted.
Yes, you were distracted, but it's a nice distraction. It was a very pretty Indian girl. I put it like, because, you have stories. She was telling a story. She has some stories. If you look at it, she has some stories that she wants to tell. So she has experienced something, maybe the picture in the back. Okay, let me just go back a little bit. Something in the back is her experience, and she was relaying that as a case study, as a storytelling. Yes, clear? Okay, let's.
Anyway, thanks for.
This is my interpretation, and you're free to change the picture.
Fair. No worries. I was just wondering whether I'm missing something.
No. You're missing the other thing because maybe you're affixed to the pretty face. Okay, I think we're a little bit short, a little bit delayed, but it's time for a break. Right, Ling Ling?
It's on.
Yes, Ling Ling.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. We are about time for a break right now. So we've got 5 minutes. So
No,
you can go
actually
ahead.
we have 8. Well, yeah, 5 minutes. That's right. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Let's get back here at 6:10. 6:10.
Actually, we have until 6:15. What? No, why are we doing that? Oh no, we're on time. We're exactly
Yeah,
on time.
Miranda, I've been telling Shram we are on time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I was looking in the beginning of the time, but actually the finish time is exact.
Perfect time.
Wow, how did we do that?
Miranda, you're 2 minutes ahead.
Very pleased. So that means that later on during the second part, we have a little bit of leeway to spend more time and doing maybe more Q&As. So everyone, you can start putting things in the group chat if you want to ask anything. But in the meantime, we do have 5 minutes break.
Well,
sure. Before we dive into the post-break content, can I quickly ask Adventurous Anna to unmute and just ask me that question? I may answer it a little later, but what was your question, Anna?
How to get all together ideas about doing some role playing or demonstrating something, because when you guys explain about each method of those and I cannot think about anything.
Right.
How to
now,
do
what is your tagline? What is the name you have in your tag? What are you?
What are you in your club? Are you an exco or a member?
I'm a VP.
No. What I meant was Anna, your tag for this program. What is what Anna are you?
Adventurous.
Right. So
Adventurous.
You answered your question with your tagline. You are adventurous.
Just go explore.
Just go out of the box. I mean, just be adventurous. Just here's a situation we have. Let's see what happens out of this. What comes out of it. All right. So sometimes I want all of you to pay attention, guys. A role play need not show how things could be done. A role play can also show what can go wrong.
Yeah.
That is important. You also get to know, oh, this doesn't work because it came out of the role play. Here's the situation we look at, etc. So Anna, I would ask you to just be a little more creative, adventurous, but I'll come back to this a little later. All right, because we're going to just move on first with the agenda.
Yes,
that's okay.
Yes. Just one little thing to add to that. Like when you do a role play, there's always a third element also. There's an observer. It could be the trainer who's an observer or another member who would pinpoint like what goes well, what didn't go well, and what can be improved. So the role play is a learning. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So back to you, Jay.
Sure. All right. Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure you got some time to refresh yourselves. Yeah, maybe suitably dehydrate or hydrate, depending on what you take, when to use the break for. But otherwise, I think it's been fun. I mean, come back so far. So good, everybody. Sit back. Thumbs up if you're ready to go. Yeah. We now come to what we would call the facilitator techniques. Now, before I go into that, I would like you to just quickly understand the term training methods. Now, under method, we had those 5 methods we talked about. One was not interactive. The other 4 were interactive. Somebody please unmute. Ravi, sir. Could you unmute and tell us what were the 5 methods?
Role play exercises. What else? I can only remember 2.
Lecture, of course. All 5. Lecture.
Lectures. Yeah, lectures is not interactive.
Exactly. Then the case studies and demonstrations.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
Thank you.
So what I want to tell to all of you is thank you, Ravi, for recapping that. What I want to tell all of you, those were methods, guys. Those were how what methodology the trainer could use to impart training. But here we talk about the training, what we know as the trainer. What are the techniques you will use? That means if it were role play, what technique you'd use? If it was just going to be a case study, what technique? What are the techniques here? There are primarily 4 techniques. Number 1 would be questions. I'll first tell you the 4. First would be questions. Then you have feedback. And then you have visual aids and managing an audience. I'll repeat that. You have questions, you have feedback, you have visual aids, and you have managing your audience. All of these being the technique that the trainer would use for any of the methods he or she has chosen. Right now, if you've understood that, we're going to move on to a little more deeper into these topics. Let's go first one at a time. Let's look at questions. And my very capable partner, one more time, I'm going to call her to the stage, Miranda. Tell us all about it. Enlighten
All
us.
right. Yes, question is my favorite technique. So I really love about that. And I find that questions actually get the learning deeper without telling. So questioning rather than telling. That is my motto. So questions, I guess, as Toastmasters, you are so familiar with it. The direct question. What would be direct question, you think, in this interaction? A direct question. I know these are terms, okay? Anybody want?
Something
Okay,
should be answered by yes or no.
No, that is direct. I'm talking about direct versus overhead now. Direct is more, that one would be for the next question. So direct is more like, Ling Ling, what do you think about this particular technique? That would be a very direct, you know, nobody else can answer that but Ling Ling, right? And then overhead, can somebody now guess what an overhead question would be?
You throw the question for anybody to answer.
Yes, how would you phrase that question? I mean, we use it a lot. So how would that sound like?
Maybe like, have anybody here have ever used iPhone like that?
Yes, correct. Simple, right? And who was that? Adventurous Anna? Yeah? I'm only little pictures. Thank you, Anna. So you're showing your adventurousness. Right. So direct is like you mention it to one particular person, or and then the overhead is like a very general. Actually, the overhead, I learned this from Craig Valentine, my teacher and my coach. He said, rather than saying, who here has done this? Has anyone heard of this? So it's very general. You would just say, do you know? Or like, have you ever heard? Because even though it is still general, but it feels like more to one person. Have you ever heard? So there's a you there, right? That's you. I'm talking to you, you, all of you, but just only one you. But when you say, has anyone here heard of this? It's very like just talking to many. So talking to many or talking to one. And so even though we do overhead question, we want to make it a little bit more pinpoint by saying, have you ever done this? Do you? Instead of like using the word everyone, who here has, you know, which is like just anybody, you know, you're not really talking to me kind of thing. So I hope that tip helps. And then, okay, we go to the next one, closed versus open. I think a lot of people know this. Who would like to tell me what closed question is? Yes, is that Ling Ling? Ling Ling, you want to say something? Yeah, no? So what is closed question? Do you know what closed question is?
Is that with a simple yes or no?
That's Sofiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yes, but not completely. There's more to it. Rather than just yes and no, what else? How else a closed question is defined?
It requires a direct answer.
Yeah, or usually just one word, right?
Yeah.
Have you eaten? No. Do you like this? Yes. What color is the sky? Blue, right? So that is a closed question. Can you notice what happens when you ask closed question? The conversation doesn't go anywhere. It just stops, right? So now what is very open question?
Oh, they can say as much as they like.
Yeah, what would the question sound like?
What do you think of?
Yeah, that works. What do you think of? And one question that is definitely going to get the other person to speak. I mean, the purpose is the open question is to what? What is the purpose of the open question? The purpose is the open question is, somebody wants to say something?
To trigger conversation.
Yeah, to move the conversation along. What else?
To share his feelings.
Yeah, when you
excitement.
ask, how are you feeling? Then they will share. So when you ask somebody how is their feeling, what are you actually doing? What are you trying to do?
Encouraging people to speak up.
Yeah, to speak up. You want to know more about them, right? You show interest. Yes, and usually that creates connection, right? While closed question is more like a just a factual information or just a confirmation of something, right? And so questions are so powerful, you guys. So rather than telling people, you can ask, what do you think? What can you do about this? What would you like to see happening? And that gets them to start thinking and being creative, right, Anna? So adventurous Anna, if you want to be creative, ask yourself these questions. What can I possibly do? What can I possibly create? Just asking those questions will trigger you to start thinking, to start having ideas. All right. So, okay. Another thing about questions is to word it simply. Don't try to make long questions. I would say no more than 10 words. Even that is a little bit too many. But if you can simply word it, then it's clear. The longer the question, the bigger the risk of it getting convoluted, getting misinterpreted, misunderstood, and having people just tune out. If you give me like a long, like a paragraph long question, I probably lose you in 10 after 10 words. Okay, so make the words simple, short and simple. And then thought-provoking but not overwhelming. What do we mean by that? What do I mean? What does this sentence mean? Can somebody give me give it a shot? What does a thought-provoking but not overwhelming mean?
A question such as when was, sorry, I'm Shalina, simple Shalina.
Yeah, simple Shalina. Okay.
A question such as when was the last time you tried something new?
Ravi once again. A question raised in which it encourages the respondent to think about it, go beyond perhaps, but not necessarily floor him or drown him.
Okay, yeah, I can accept that. That is not a kind of like making them feel maybe defensive or cornered. I think that's somewhere along that way, right, Rafi? Yes. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. I would like to hear Sharlina because I start hearing you and then it kind of like got caught off. Sharlina, would you like to take a shot at this?
Yep. I was just saying a question such as when was the last time you tried something new?
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes people have to think, you know, like, yeah, so that goes. And sometimes like just a question is like, what would you like to, what would you want? That could be thought-provoking if people haven't really thought about that. What is it that you really mean? Or something like that, right? Okay. Maybe my second example is not exactly correct. What's for dinner? That could be thought-provoking if you were me, because I would say, okay, what can I make for dinner? And I would come up with ideas. Okay, thank you, Tedji. And then the amplify points that haven't been fully covered. Okay, this is a bit thought-provoking. Would anybody like to explain this one? Segundo, you're right in front of my face right now. Would you like to give this a shot?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking amplify points that haven't been fully covered. It's kind of like some people may know it, but some people may not. It is more but some topics that only covered by some part of the people, but not in general.
Yeah. Yeah, you can word it.
But
in such a way.
I couldn't think any kind of question or topic about it.
Yes. Somebody wants to say something? Or was it me echoing? Like you can say a question as simply, so what is your opinion about gap analysis? You know, we've already talked about it, right? What have you learned about gap analysis? So that is like a question that forces people to think about that, or maybe some particular aspects of it. You know, like actually, I'm digging a grave for myself right now.
I think, Miranda, another question that the trainers use is, what if, to amplify the point, like we are trying to make a point as a trainer, but we want to introduce the topic to the participant, what if this was the situation? How would you react to it? See, like even if you're going to VPM dealing with a new member, what if the member says, I don't know if I have enough time to be a Toastmaster? So you're kind of introducing the topic to the participant's mind so that, you know, like they kind of think about it. So it's amplifying a point that you would want to introduce.
Yes, I love that. I love that. See, you guys, Sharm is the third trainer. Lucky we have her. Do you guys agree with that? I think that is a brilliant question, right? What if somebody asks this question, and like, you know, I mean, and that is so relevant for us as Toastmasters, always looking for new members, right? Okay. All right, so that is about questions, and I would just say practice doing it, asking yourself questions. It will kind of like hone and sharpen your questioning ability, and that really helps you with coaching, with getting people to be empowered and all that. Okay, so let's move to the next one.
Yeah, before that, Miranda.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes.
No, I just have one more thing to add to whatever you've covered brilliantly so far, which is there's something called a clarifying question. And typically you would phrase this as, what exactly did you mean when you said ... So please make a note of that, guys. It's called a clarifying question. What did you mean when you told me this?
Yes.
So ask for clarification. Yeah, right. And then of course there's something called reflective questions, which is, can you just reflect on this for a moment and tell me what you think? It's a reflective question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, I want to add to that. That's it. Otherwise, I think we got a whole gamut of question techniques. Okay, we can use, which leads us to the next technique. Yeah, which is feedback. Now I have a question for everybody. Yay, question. Why is feedback important, guys? Simple question. Why is feedback?
Simple questions.
First of all, simpler question. Is it important? Ravi, sir, you will not answer. Is feedback?
Yeah, just to clarify.
I refuse to.
Just to clarify.
I try for feedback, period.
Yeah.
So anyway, the question is feedback
I just want to clarify a little thing, you guys. The feedback we mean here is the feedback that we give during the training sessions.
Yeah. Sorry, not your feedback on your training. It's the feedback you give. Yeah. Why is it important?
To the participants.
To the participants. Yes. Thank you for clarifying, Miranda.
Hi, Jai. Hi, Miranda.
Hi.
This is
Natalie. Yeah.
Yay, Natalie. Hi.
Hi. So I think feedback is really important because we grow from feedback. By getting feedback, we know what we have done well or what we can learn from.
Yeah. Natalie, let me just stop you there. The question is, why is giving feedback to your training partner important?
Oh, sorry.
Not receiving feedback. Yeah.
Thank you, Jai.
Yeah. Don't tell me.
For
You
clarifying. Yeah. Right. So I think giving feedback to our training participants is important because we want to help them understand what they have done well and what they can learn.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'll also use the word you use. You want them to grow, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
you want your participants to improve. If you care for them, you'll give them. One of the things I'd like to cover here very briefly is a lot of people, sometimes get defensive when you give them feedback. Very few of us realize you will give somebody an area of improvement only because you care for them or about them. Give me a yes or a thumbs up if it's true. I would tell Miranda, hey, Miranda, you know what? If you did it this way, this could be better. I'll do this because I want her to be better. Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's only because
yeah. It's okay. Go ahead.
That's because I care. Miranda just, I think it was half an hour, said, Jai, you're speaking too fast. That was feedback. And why is she saying that to me? She wants me to do better, and speak slower, right? And I keep that feedback in mind. That's the most important thing to understand, guys. You give feedback because you care.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the most important element about feedback.
Yes.
And then as a receiver, and also when we give feedback, it's not to criticize, but to see how we can help this person. And like if you look at the next words there's a word that says no information overload, be specific and factual, be tactful, be clear and immediate. So you want to go and just add to that, Jay?
Yeah, so I wanted to say, therefore, when you give feedback to people, just look at what are the simple things that you observed, that you documented or you noted, and tell them, you know what, here's an area of improvement. And feedback, by the way, need not only be negative. You also have positive feedback. I mean, Toastmasters, we're all aware of this, right? Okay, so I'm not saying you have to follow the sandwich method or the hamburger method or whatever, whichever order you want to say the feedback, but also look at what people are doing well and give them feedback, because that motivates them. It empowers them, right? So feedback is all about just caring about the person who is under your wings, so to speak. As a trainer, you're like a mentor. There are little subtle differences, but they're under your wing. They're there to learn from you, and you care for them. So feedback is all about empathy and looking at what could be done differently, what could be improved. That's what you got to do. Don't make it, I'm going to go back to the slide here. Don't make it information overload. Keep it simple feedback. This is one area you could do to improve, So I want all of you to note this down. This is a phrase that I often use in my training. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. I'm going to repeat it. It's very powerful. A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. You're going to overload your listener with feedback. Half of it will not be retained. Right? So Miranda, want to add to that?
Anything? Yes. So basically one feedback at a time, and not like 5 things that could be improved at the time. And I think, Jay, there's something very important that we need to stress here about the difference between giving feedback in a training session and feedback or evaluation in a Toastmasters session, giving a evaluation to a speech. And this is, I cannot stress this more, but when you give feedback in a training setting, you want it to make it simple. It's no longer, like when you give an evaluation in the speech evaluation, it becomes a show. Often, like you maybe put a quote, you put like acronyms, you want to make it like interesting and engaging. But when you do give feedback in training, you want to strip all the whistles and bells and just say what you find working or good, and you always still used to do that, still do the positive, and then the commendation, and then the recommendation. You still have to hold on to that principle, but just make it very simple and very direct. And this is what I find well done. I really appreciate you doing this and this and this, and these are a few things that I can give you information, give suggestion on. This and this, and maybe give some demonstration, and don't make it long. You don't even need to summarize it, because if you only give one point, and you'll have, during a training session, you have many occasions to give feedback. You don't have to think and, okay, what do I have to say, and make it like a delivery. It's just as it goes along. It's part of the flow, part of the process of the training session. So I think this is something that when you shift from speakers to trainers, something that you need to take into
One more thing, Miranda.
Yes.
One more quick thing, and then we'll move on, which is when you give feedback, guys, to your trainees or your participants, keep these 3 words in mind. The 3 words are professionally, positively, and precisely.
Okay, can you repeat that again?
Yes, I'm going to slowly. Professionally, positively, and precisely.
Yes.
Don't give ambiguous feedback.
Yeah.
Never tell people, oh, that's no way to behave, or that's not how you should. What was wrong? What could be improved? Be very precise.
Yeah, it says there, be specific and factual. You don't give feedback on evaluation or what you think or what you feel, but rather like, okay, when you did this, and then what could be improved about that?
Be precise,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is visual aids.
Yeah, visual aids. And who better than Miranda to do that? So Miranda, enlighten us.
Okay, well, you guys, I mean, you know, in Pathways, there is a creating visual aids. So I would like you to really look into that and to use that as guidelines. We're not going to go very deep into this. And I'm just going to give you some tips and maybe tools or from my own experience, so that most of us, or 83% of us, learn through sight. And then, yeah, this one are the very nice statistics. 20% of what you people remember, 20% of what they hear. 50% of people remember 50% of what they hear and see. And then people remember 70% of what they hear, see, and do. And what does that mean by that? We cannot just stop at the beautiful visual aids, but you're not using the other techniques and methods that we've been talking about, right? You just focus on, okay, here you talk about your visual aids and then you talk. So basically people get to hear and see, but then they don't do anything. So the do part is very important for people to retain information. And these are parts from the live presentations. From online training, online trainings, we have other considerations. I would go into that a little bit later, but can you just shout out or write in the chat, what do you consider as visual aids? What do you guys consider? What are visual aids? Diagram?
Model.
Picture, PPT, attention.
Model.
Huh? What is that? Oh.
Sorry, that was for the previous question. A wealth of information.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're not attention. So picture, PowerPoint, objects, paperboard, clip chart or flip chart. Anything that helped the presentation. I think that's a little bit vague. I would like to hear what it is. Okay, Michael Mouse corrected that. Flip chart. All right, so let's see. Yeah, those are all correct. Anything that the audience sees, including written words. True. All right, so here are some of the more common ones. The flip charts. Not many people do flip charts, but I love flip charts. I like the kinetics of flip charts. So you move it, you can see it, and you can pre-prepare it, and you do a lot with flip charts. And if I do live training, I still like to do that. Projectors, you guys all know. Handouts, slides. Virtual background is something that I really love, and I'm not giving you an example here, but anybody who has been to any table topic sessions, rather than using slides, I put the questions in the virtual background. So there would be one virtual background for each question. And for something like that, short time, you don't have much time for transition. Using virtual background is actually much more practical, and you can still appear without going out of the picture, and then the transition is so much faster. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But if you just look at your background right now, virtual background, imagine you can put information on your background, right? And then you know how you can add images in Zoom for your visual backgrounds. So you can just make as many slides as you want. And usually that works very fast. And I really like that. So that's part of the things that I like. And the slides, you guys are seeing how we're doing that. And I hope that is an example of what we meant by that, that you can see there are not many words per slides. We're not forcing you to read. And so I'm adding virtual background. And then OBS is, as trainers, we always try to learn, we're always learning new techniques. There's always some new development, new innovations. I admit that I haven't learned much about OBS, even though I've heard a lot about it. But I encourage you all to search about OBS and try to use that, because with OBS, you can actually have your slides in half, where you can appear in the half of the what you can see in the screen, right, as you would normally do, and then the other half just for the slides part. So that's something that I hope to develop. I didn't have enough time to research it and practice it to do it for this time. So video, everybody knows, audio, transcript. Yeah, can somebody look up for me what it says? Like it's a free app. Okay, I'm going to focus on this. Maybe someone can, maybe Louise is good at this. Just look it up, Google it, what it stands for. So what I would like to comment on this is we live so much in the online environment right now that sometimes live session has become like a memory of distant memory. So when you do online courses, or when you do trainings online, nowadays most professional trainers would always provide for learning tools that people can take away, which is there's always a video, an audio, and a transcript, and they include the slides to be given to the participants to learn from. So I hope, yeah. So thank you, Louise. It's Open Broadcaster Software. Thank you. I hope that's clear. Anybody has any question? If not, I will go quickly into the flip chart part. So this is flip chart in case you don't know what it is. So it's flip chart. Yeah. So what is important about the flip chart? And in this picture, actually, this is not the way we look. So, and this is something that I learned at the very, very beginning of my Toastmasters learning and Toastmasters training career, is when you stand, like our eyes look from left to right chronologically. Does anybody agree with that or understand that? Right? So when we look, we always look from left to right if we read, right? Some of you may be like right to left, but generally we always think like thing starts in the left and then ends to the right, and it goes to the right. So this defines where you have to stand when you are presenting using either flip chart or what do you call, projector. So people will hear you talk, and then they will look at your chart or at your chart or flip chart or at your screen, right? So if you put the flip chart first or the screen first, but you talk first, sorry, to the left, and then you talk first, something inside you is like a little bit confused. You have to look right and left, right and left. So if you could just position yourself to the right of your flip chart or to your left of the flip chart. It's very confusing when you I cannot explain it. So basically, if you see my cursor right now, this is where you have to stand, right? You talk and then you explain, and then you talk and then you explain. And the most important thing is not to give your back to your audience. Remember that the visual aid is an aid. It's not your whole presentation.
Miranda, I'd just like to clarify, some people can't see your cursor. What Miranda is trying to say is that picture shows the wrong way to stand. If you're writing, you should be on the left. In that picture, what you are watching, it should be the lady who's showing, who is training, should be on the other side. So this is the wrong way to do. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct me. Yep. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, this is the, thank you, Sharm, for clarifying that for me. And I'm showing you a little bit about the projector. So here are some pointers, show the visual where you're talking about it. And in this case, this is a little bit different because everybody can see what's in front of them in their screen, so that I can see that, you know, she walks around a little bit. Maybe she's pointing something. The important thing is that everybody can see your screen. And here is very important. Talk to your audience, not to the visual. I don't know if you've ever seen people who explain and read and then look at the visual, and that's talking to the visual rather than to the audience. And if you can memorize it, it would be great. I mean, if you have your video in front of you, then you know the sequence, right? So those are just a few tips, little, but I think it's very important. Oof. All right. Yeah, the point that, okay, I just want to mention here, but she could be left-handed. It doesn't matter. You still have to be on the right side. I mean, you know,
because
the correct side. Right? Okay. Jay.
Yeah, two comments on this before we move on. And this is, if I just ask them to reflect back on an earlier comment Miranda made of the 20%, 50%, 70%. Can you shout out, people retain 20% of what they?
Hear.
Right. They retain 50% of what they?
Hear and see.
And they retain 70% of what they?
Hear, see, and do.
Now, how come none of you asked, what if you want to achieve more than 70% retention? Nobody asked that question. What must you do then?
It's
Why are we stopping?
impossible.
Sorry?
It's impossible.
No, it is possible. Obviously, you're stopping at 70%, right? Well, people can achieve more than 70% retention by doing things again. So it's hear, see, do, and do again. And then you achieve closer to 70, 80, 85% retention. So do things again and again until it becomes a habit and you retain it, right? Good. I want to add one more point to visual aids, and that is a comment I'm going to make. I want you to unmute and tell me what you understood, which is every single one of you sitting in this workshop right now is the visual aid yourself. Can someone tell me what did I mean by that? You are all visual aids, even without props and flip charts and PowerPoints. You're all visual aids. Can someone unmute and tell me how and why?
Because we can see each other.
As a trainer, when you stand in front of people, you are a visual aid. Why?
Someone says body language.
Yes, that is close to an answer. Someone has written body language. Absolutely spot on. Because it's your appearance, your attire, your wardrobe. You come there. Are you very colorful? Are you formal, informal? All these are visual aids that sets the mood, the tone of the whole session. It's your expressions, your gestures, your hand movements, expansive, narrow. What is it? They're all visual aids. Your eye contact, facial expressions. I mean, on and on and on. You don't need extra props if your hands and eyes and your body can speak louder than your words. Remember that. So be very visual.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're taking quite a bit of time with that because I think there's something that's very important and we want to really, make a strong point about that. All right. So we go next to managing difficult audience. Managing difficult behaviors. Jay, you want to start with that?
No, I just wanted to let people know that I'm sure you can even shout out a yes if you've experienced it. You will have all kinds of people in your audience. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
You'll have to shout out, guys. I need verbal responses because I'm blind. So yeah, you're gonna get all kinds. You gotta know how to manage them. Miranda's gonna talk about it, but you'll get a lot of these, and I have experienced them myself in my training workshops. Right? You'll get the passive kind who don't say much. You'll get the disruptive kind who keep on wanting to interrupt. You'll have the questionnaire. Miranda, you want to explain that?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I just want to share, you know, when I first started training, I was like, want people to put people, you know, difficult people in their place, right? To show them who's boss. And I think, so that was not good because, you know, like, I mean, you create some kind of tension with one or two people. And over the course of my career, I've learned to become a bit wiser. And also I learned a lot more about myself and understanding about what's really going on within people, you know, with people's behaviors. And I've come to the realization that when you look at difficult, or when you start thinking that this is a difficult person, you already set something inside you that's going to be either more defensive or it's like combative, you know, like you kind of want to fight them. So it requires a change in the mindset. You know, there's no difficult people, but there are difficult behaviors. And what are they trying to do with these behaviors? You know, people who are kind of like know-it-all, people who are even shy people, or people who think they're better than others. If you go deeper into that and just be curious. So rather than interpreting their behavior or making an evaluation of the behavior, start by being curious. What is it they're trying to do? What is it that they're needing? And you'll find when you start thinking like that, you said, wow, this person really crave for so much attention, or craving acknowledgement, or craving appreciation. And sometimes rather than arguing with them, let them just speak for a little bit, and then acknowledging them and ask what is it that they're wanting to come across. And even, you know, rather than arguing with what they said or trying to put them in their place. So yeah, we can, I mean, if you look at some books, then they give you types of people. Rather than looking at people of types, I find it's much more useful and easier to handle this by understanding that people who seem difficult or portraying difficult behaviors, they're needing something so strongly. I mean, if you look at this picture, you probably think, wow, that's a bright girl. But I can also look at it like, okay, everybody else is doing their work. And this person, if you look at the expression in her face, I know something. I want to ask something. I want to know more, you know? So this could be a difficult behavior in your class, disruptive, right? So my point about managing difficult behaviors is develop curiosity and ask more questions about what is it that they're asking, what is it that they want to know, and what is it that they need, and listen. That usually helps.
I just have one line to add, Miranda.
Yes, please.
I just have one line to add, and that is to let everyone take this phrase down, which is loosening up does not mean you have to lose control. I'm going to repeat that. Loosening up does not mean you have to lose control. End of the day, as trainers and coaches and facilitators, you have to be in control. But that doesn't mean you have to be uptight about things. Be a little loose, I mean, be lighthearted, you know, say a few things here and there, but be in control all the time, bring things back. And also don't allow anybody in the audience to derail the agenda. That means you must bring them back on track. Otherwise it's a runaway train, right? So,
yeah, and good practice is that.
And finally, I want to close with saying that it takes a little bit of experience. It can be intimidating for new trainers, etc. If the audience is more experienced, or if they want to be a little difficult. But with experience, you'll get it. You'll know what to do. Yeah.
Exactly. I remember when it was very, very nerve-wracking, but eventually you learn and you become more relaxed. And I think that relaxation exercise helps because you're more relaxed and not tense. as when you start training. All right, we're moving along faster.
Yeah, just a quick thing, they have a Pathways project, Miranda, where they can actually practice that.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. We will include the link to that, and so you can, I mean, if you're already level 3 or level 4, you probably can access it yourself. But for those who haven't, I will just include the link for this manual. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the last part of the training model, which is the evaluate the program. Now that we've done all that, Natalie mentioned earlier the importance of giving feedback, but like what does it mean for us to give feedback? So this is actually where what Natalie said would fit very well. Why we need to evaluate. We want to evaluate our program because, yeah, why is evaluate important? Everybody knows, right? Everybody already knows. Because we want to improve. Every time we want to improve, and every time we do a training, no matter how small, we want to get feedback for our training. And when you do create a program, for a training program, these are the elements that you need to include, which is about the program, the presenter, and the participants. We're not going to go very deep into that, but at the end of this session, you're going to all receive an evaluation form, which is the exact example of what the evaluation form that you need to do, or you should have at the end of every program, every training program that you do. So you can just copy the flow and change it according to what you need. Okay. All right. I don't know. Time just flies. It's so crazy.
Yeah. I think we're slightly behind. Yeah.
Yes. So Jay, let's review this. Let's review. Actually, we're already at the end of this.
Yeah. I think we just proceed and then we'll get a recap. Shall we just go? What's next?
Yes. So it's the training model. Like, yeah, just review. You can just we can just review everything. And then we're going into sharing a little bit about us as trainers. So you want to do the review, Jay?
What all is that?
You're talking about everything that's covered so far from
yes. Basically, we're at the end. We're at the end of our program.
Yeah. So I would like to do it by throwing it to the participants. Can someone volunteer, if possible, without looking at notes, take a shot at this? Don't worry about mistakes. We'll correct it. But
Miranda, you're going to hide the training model.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can someone do this for us? Anybody? Right from the beginning, what did we do? I'll give you a start. We had a training outcome or objectives. What happened after that? Yes, your name, please. Let me rephrase that. If you need to look at your notes, it's okay. Let's go. Anybody? Natalie, I can see you jumping up and down, hands raised. So you want to do that? Guys, can we get a volunteer to review?
Bonaventure, would you like to share what you've remembered?
What can you remember of what all was done as to be a trainer from a speaker?
And I understand, I believe you're a trainer yourself, so perhaps your understanding of what you've done.
Halina said we're experiencing it right now. We're experiencing it right now.
I'm not a trainer, but the takeaway that I got from the session today is that there's only certain percentage that you can take away, like from the unless we were to hear or see and do and keep on doing it, we'll get more than 70%. I think that was the greatest takeaway that I got from this session itself. Yeah, and we are all visual aids. That's what I just appreciated that, because I thought that I don't matter or anything of that sort, but I do matter. Like all the participants, they are of importance to each and everyone in the total session actually, and we are the visual aid.
Yes.
Because that's basically the takeaway that I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can we just yeah, that's very good that you got those takeaways. I'm sure it's going to make a big difference to you, Bonaventure. Can we just say we just go as a checklist? What was review as a review? Miranda, should we just do that?
Yeah.
We had the training outcome, yes, and then after that we did what was known as the gap analysis. We all remember that. Then we did a lesson plan based on adult learning theory. Then we did the training method. Under the training method, for all of you, one more time, which was you had the lecture style, which was not interactive, but we had 4 interactive styles, which were also to use role plays. And then we had case studies, we had demonstrations, and we had exercises. These were training methods. And then we went on to facilitator techniques under any of these methods, all right? And the facilitator techniques that we covered were to use either questions, and that was pretty in-depth, I think. And then we had feedback, we talked about that. We had visual aids, and that was, I think, covered in pretty much a lot of detail here. And finally, we had what is known as evaluation and managing difficult audience, and then evaluation. That's overall the run of what we did in those 2 sessions. Give me a big thumbs up. You can save your hugs for later, but you agreed with all I said? Yeah.
Hugs.
Hug. Okay, I got some hugs. Good. That feels good, man. All right, good. So that's where we are now, yes. Miranda.
Yes. Yeah. So we're, as much as we could, we try to demonstrate every steps of what we're teaching, and hopefully, you can gain from that, or you can also look at the recording and see, okay. Hopefully, you will be able to recognize, oh, that's what she's doing, that, or that's what they're doing. Oh, they're using this technique, or they're using method, right? So that's our purpose, or our objectives, is that we demonstrate throughout this whole training what we're teaching.
Yep.
Yes.
True.
So hopefully you can get that. And I saw a few questions, but we don't have time to answer those particular questions. We'll probably touch that a little bit later. Okay, and now, in conclusion, we would like to talk a little bit about effective training, becoming effective training as part of our own experiences and other people's experiences. And I will kick this off with, does anyone, do you know who this person is? Okay, his name is Matt Abrams, and he's from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. He's one of the I guess the most effective trainer that I have seen online. I haven't met him in person, and you can look him up in YouTube. And he's teaching about communication and public speaking. But more than that, you can model the way he trains. So for me, that is the real value, like when I watch him, I say like, oh, so that's how he trains, not just the topic, but also how he carries himself. And yeah, I wish we have time. Okay, somebody said, think fast, talk smart, from Natalie. Exactly. That's the title of his talk, and also of his book. And then we cannot forget the greatest inspirational Toastmaster trainers. Does anybody know who? I guess you can already see it. Anybody can shout out his name?
Gerald Green.
Yes, the late Gerald Green. And right? Papa Gerald Green is, if you look at this, farewell, Papa Gerald Green. Thank you for bringing Toastmasters to our shores. So we're all here as Toastmasters because of Papa Green. And I had the privilege of knowing him in person, also of being trained by him. And yeah, so he's my inspiration as a trainer, and I can just copy him, to the T. And if anybody just follow his book, or just follow the way he laid out his training, I can guarantee that you're going to be an effective trainer already. And on the right, I know the picture is a little bit small. Don't mind the, okay, look at this guy. Does anybody know who this tall, handsome guy is?
Craig Valentine, Miranda.
Yes, Craig Valentine. He was the 1999 world champion of public speaking, and he's, to me, one of the best trainers. Not just how he carries himself, you know, his ethics as a trainer and his methods in giving training. And his book is called World Class Speaking. I would recommend for you guys to get these two books, and it will teach you a lot, especially, I mean, in this World Class Speaking, actually, he's talking about, you know, like public speaking, but if you follow his method of training, that you will gain a lot as a trainer and become an effective trainer. And then in the end, for us, this is what Jay and I agree, as an effective trainer, these are the things that we really need to do. So prepare and practice diligently. Jay, you want to say something about that?
I just want to say that this is a no-brainer, guys. What I mean by that is, well, you know, this is a very cliched phrase, I know, but if you fail to prepare, then better prepare to fail. So you have to be prepared, which means run through it, review it, you know, practice your presentation a couple of times if possible before you actually present it. So, you know, I've learned this from my own personal experience. I would never go up in front of a camera or a stage without preparation, right? So know your audience, know your content, and just go there and just show your best self. That's it.
Yes, and you can never be too great to prepare and practice. I talked to Craig personally, and he said, how did you do that? You know, you look like it's fresh. And if you watch several of his videos, his topics are very similar, but yet every time you stand, I thought, okay, he's going to tell the same story. But every time I'm wowed, because he brings freshness to it. It feels like he was doing it the very first time. I said, how did you do that? I practice, you know, and I visualize, and I do like even though I know what I'm going to say, I still practice it and visualize it every time without fail. So that's something that we can be inspired.
Can I just tell them the 4 P's for this, Miranda? The 4 P's.
Yeah.
I'll just repeat the 4 words. It's prepare, it's preview, it's practice, it's present. So I'm going to repeat that. Prepare, preview, practice, present. Preview is go through your content a few times. You might want to change it every time you look at it. Something may look, you know, to be. Yeah.
There, I wrote it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. And then the next one is delivers an enjoyable learning experience. Well, to me, it's like, what's the point in getting a training if you cannot enjoy it? And I'm sure everybody can remember the very famous quote of the founder of Toastmasters. Can anybody just shout that out?
We learn best in the moment of enjoyment.
Yay! I think every Toastmaster should know that and should remember that and use that as your first pillar. Okay, and then achieve success by continually integrating participant feedback into his or her program. Okay, we already mentioned this. Natalie mentioned that, and I reiterate that. Okay, so that's why feedback is very important. Okay, any point, Jay, you want to add to that?
Well, yes, I just wanted to say that if you enjoy it, your audience enjoys it. Remember that. Never ever forget that. You've got to enjoy doing what you're doing, right? If you do that, your audience enjoys it. If you're excited, they're excited. You're enthusiastic, they're enthusiastic. Finally, if you have energy, they have energy, right?
Yeah.
So please remember that. All right, guys. And I want to just finish this thought with, whether you're a speaker or a trainer, remember it's about your audience.
Yeah, the sincere interest, you know, in their growth and transformation. I think you need to have that if you want to be a trainer. I think there's no way around it. You know, if you're not interested in that, then maybe training is not something that for you. But if you do, go and be a trainer. Yeah, it's a very rewarding career, a very rewarding profession. Okay, so that's from us. I think we're good. We're good with time. And now we have action plan. Okay, we have some action plan. We'll do this, and then we have Q&A later. All right. So now, you guys, I would like you all to unmute and complete this sentence. I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to. Everybody says it. Everybody say.
Sorry. Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, everyone unmute yourself and say this.
Read it out. Complete the sentence.
Plan to complete the sentence. I plan to use
skills I learned in this workshop to further improve myself as a trainer.
Skills I learned in this workshop to step forward.
Oh, step forward. Okay. Further improve, somebody says.
Speak up, you guys.
Linda, what did you say?
Linda Lee,
I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to improve my communication skill.
Yeah. Who's that? Oh, Bima. Yeah, well done, sir. Anyone else? Linda.
I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop.
Ravi is lagging.
Okay, there's a lag. I want to hear from Michael Mouse today. I haven't heard Michael Mouse at all. He's as quiet as a mouse in the house. Michael Mouse, complete it.
Okay, I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to improve the club better, and especially I see in the communication between members, among members.
There you go. Finally heard the mouse. All right.
Thanks, yeah.
Anybody else? And then we'll move on.
Natalie.
Oh, Natalie wants to say something. All right.
No, I'm asking Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie.
Hi, Jai. Hi, Miranda. So I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to be a better trainer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the obvious, but good for sharing. And we're going to, I think, just go to adventurous Anne here. What do you think?
Thank you, Jay and Miranda. Actually, my daily work demands me to do a lot of teaching. So sure, I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to be a greater teacher and instructor because I teach yoga too.
Very good. Oh,
wonderful.
Okay,
Okay, super. One last one. I would like to hear from Adina. You've been very quiet today, Adina.
Exactly. Amazing, Adina.
Oh, amazing, Adina.
Thank you, Miranda. It's been a long day for me. Okay, I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to be a better trainer and leader.
Oh, and leader. Okay.
Yes,
That's
yes.
amazing. That is amazing.
Thank you. Anyone else? One last person would like to say it. You know, why we're asking this is like, if you don't say anything, then you're not really applying it. But the minute you say it, you actually make a commitment. You start thinking, okay, how can I be what I say I'm going to be? So one more person.
Let me say something.
Yes.
Let me say something.
Yeah,
I plan to use the skills I learned in this workshop to be a better me for a better people around me.
Whoa.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Jay, you want to take it one step more? Yeah.
I just wanted to say that's a very profound this thing, but thought. And very good. End of the day, you're going to plan to use the skills you learned in this workshop to become not just a better version of yourselves, but to, as we pointed out, it's all about growth, right? And in the process, grow people likewise around you. And collectively, I think, we all just go on to just keep learning something that we didn't already know. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linda Lee, I heard, we couldn't hear what you said. Could you like to share what you plan to do? Linda Lee, can you hear me? Oops, she can't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we need to move on.
I think we're running out of time. So how has your perception of yourself and other participants change from attending this workshop, you can chat right in the chat. How has your perception of yourself or of other participants changed as a result of attending or participating in this workshop? We would love to hear from you about that.
Can I rephrase that to make it easier for them also?
Okay, please.
And the question is very simple. You could even type it yes or no. Do you believe that you have now understood what it takes to be a good trainer, not just a speaker? I'll repeat that. Today, right now, in this moment, do you believe and you feel you have the confidence to know what it takes to be a good, effective trainer, not just a speaker? If the answer is yes, thumbs up, and that gives us the answer. It also answers Miranda's question.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So we're getting quite a few yeses.
Yes. And thank you,
Yeah.
Michael Mouse. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Okay. Well, we're not quite done yet. I mean, I know we're at the end of the day, of our day today. We still have one more thing for you to help you move further along in your skill development and in your learning as a trainer. And for that, we have an assignment for you. So yes, okay, I'm gonna read it out for you, right? Okay. Yeah, before that, I would say it has changed my perception. This is from Herlina, that there is a possibility for me to improve my ability to connect with the audience. Wonderful. Thank you, Herlina. So final assignment. And this is especially, well, I don't want to mention it, but I mean, I know some of you are actually doing this for credit, but I hope that would not be your main motivation in doing this, but your motivation should be to improve and to get better as a trainer and to start your training profession, perhaps. So what is the assignment? It's to conduct a minimum of 15-minute training on any subject of value to your audience. And if you're already some established trainer, or if you've been training for a while, stretch it a little bit, make it a 1 hour or 2 hour training of any subject to your of value to your audience. All right. So where can you do this? At your club or at any venue or audience of your choice. It could be at an organization. It could be even a paid assignment or like a volunteer somewhere. Okay. So, and then when? By or on November 2nd. So you have 1 month to do that. And then once you're done, you're going to fill out the training assessment form after delivering your training and submit it by November 10th. So I will be sending, after this, in the next couple of days, I will be sending this material, some resources, and the form for you to fill out after this workshop. So check your email, okay? Any question about that before we move on? Anyway, this will be in the handout, so you can see it again, or you can screenshot it now and start working on it. And
you can also, Miranda, may I add that in Pathways, they can also use their 22-minute keynote speech, sort of into make it slightly a bit of a training model.
Yep. That's what we do in Trainers and Coaches Advanced Club, Jay's and mine club, and come and have a look. And yeah, somebody asked if this can be conducted in Bahasa Melayu. Of course, you can conduct it in any language. It's the experience that we want to have want you to have. Okay, do we have Mandarin version of this training? At the moment, no. But maybe, I know Desmond has been like following very closely, and he's my go-to for Mandarin translations or anything Mandarin. I hope, Desmond, are you around? Is it okay if people come to you and ask for clarification about this? And hopefully in the future, there's going to be a version of this in Mandarin. Yes, Kadazan and Dusun, anything in Iban and all that. All right. Okay.
Miranda,
Who is asking? Adina?
Question, Miranda.
Yes.
For me, Adina.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this assignment, because now we are still doing virtual training, right? So, are we supposed to do this assignment face to face? I mean, like choose a group of people and then do this assignment face to face, or we can also do it virtually?
Yes, of course. I mean, we live in a virtual world right now. I would say, virtually or in person, or even a video. You know, like, I mean, we respect that too. And if you want to do a video training, you can do that.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Think about, be creative about it, because you're still having to engage your audience. So if you do just your own video recording, it's of course going to be a little bit more challenging because you don't have an audience. But you can still remember what I said earlier, that a speech or a training is like a conversation. So you make it conversational, so you can get that, so the audience, whoever is going to watch that recorded video, could feel the engagement. Okay, can I use it as pathways assignment? Yes, I think Sharm already mentioned that. All right, so with that, I think we're nearing the end of our session. Jay, would you like to say a few words in closing?
Yeah. Well, I just want to tell everybody from the bottom of my heart, I do not know who is present today on the screen, that it's been a very rewarding experience for me. And I would like to just think that I've managed to make a few friends here today. Is that right, Charlotte? Yes, if that's true.
Yes.
So I just and I think that's very heartwarming. I just want to share, I'm very honest here that, so many miles away, sitting in India here, to be able to connect with all of you and to be able to make new friends. It's been, and also to learn so much that I probably even didn't know from sharing. This has been a most rewarding experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you did too. And thank you so much for your active participation. I appreciate it. And I think you guys have been awesome.
Yeah, I think you have been, right? Everybody agrees with that? Yeah, and from my part, what can I say? I love doing this. And every time I train, I learn. Like every time I prepare, even the same training, I learn new things, new ways of doing it, how to make it more effective. And so thank you for giving me this opportunity. I feel very honored that so many actually showed up, and then even more than 75% and 70% showing for the second session, and it is quite rare in Toastmasters for long trainings like this. So I'm just very, very grateful to you all. Really enjoyed this, and really enjoyed the work with Sharm, with Jay, with Sharm, which is like, we really a 3-trainer workshop. It's not just Jay and I. And then of course, there's Ling Ling and there's Louise, who've been very, very helpful. It's a very small group, but we really enjoyed the collaboration and the work, and hopefully what we've done had been useful. And out of this, we'll see the birth of many new trainers, or trainers just getting better and soaring. So thank you. That's right. Yes. All right. So now I'm going to call Ling Ling to share the evaluation form. Yeah, so please fill out the evaluation form. Ling Ling just posted it. We really would like you to comment, and so that we can continue to become better and to improve. And I'm doing this on behalf of the District 87 and the Toastmasters Leadership Institute. And we hope to bring you more of quality trainings, useful trainings. So any inputs you have, please share with us, so we can always make it better and make it even more enjoyable than now. Yes, feedback, please fill it out. I think you can fill it out in 3 minutes. We'll be very quiet so you can focus on your evaluation. Okay, we're starting to get them. Oh, it's coming in, coming in. Thank you, Leo. All right. We'd like to, yes, Ling Ling, we're going to call our wonderful PQD. Yep. Thank you for filling out the form, you guys. I can see them coming. Thank you, Ping. And I'm glad you're still staying till the end. Yes, you guys will receive a recording of this session, so you can listen to it again and again. And you know, when you're doing your homework, if you have any question or you need some input, you can reach out to us. I don't know if we can answer all of them, but we will try. Right, Jay?
Yeah, I was just mentioning to Sharm here that we may not have answered some of the questions, and please feel free to connect with us post this workshop too. I would love to answer. In fact, I'd like to mention to Adventurous Anne that I have not answered the question. If you want to stay back after we close, I'd love to answer that question, Anne.
We're getting a lot of questionnaires coming in. Okay, Ling Ling, maybe we can start wrapping up so that we can finish right on time. Well, actually, we're 2 minutes delayed.
Yes. All right. Right. Thank you very much, Miranda. And thank you everyone for coming. Before you go, we're going to do a quick group photo because we missed out on that. Well, not really missed out. We saved the best for last. So please, if you haven't got your visuals turned on, please do so. And our Zoom host, Lewis, will go ahead and take a snapshot of this moment right here. All right, this is your once in a, well, not once in a lifetime, but an opportunity for you to be in the same screen as our trainers, Miranda and Jai. So turn on your visuals and we'll take a snapshot of this moment right here. All right, is everyone ready? How's your hair looking? Everyone looking good? All right, I don't see any pictures popping. Oh, okay, I see a couple more popping up. Please turn on your visuals. Make sure that everything's all right in tip-top condition. And Lois will go ahead and take that photo right now. Lois, take it away.
A little bit more lights for me.
Just waiting for Miranda.
All right.
All right, everyone.
So give me your biggest smile. So I'll count down from 3, 2, 1. All right, I have 3 pages, so stay with me, everyone. So one more time for page number 2. So 1, so 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. So last page, everyone. One more page. So give me a bigger smile. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Ling.
All right, thank you,
All
everyone.
right, bye, everybody. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Jai.
Wait. We have a closing remark from our PQD.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but do please stay because there are a couple of questions hasn't been addressed, and as per the last session, we had a couple of really interesting answers to those. So stay tuned, you can find out more. But without further ado, I now pass the floor to our Miranda for her closing remarks. Over to you.
No, to the PQD.
Oh, Agus will be doing his closing remarks in the opening, and of course, he will be closing this session as well. So, the one, the only distinguished Toastmaster, amazing Agustinus Wijaya, to the floor.
Thank you, Ling Ling. First of all, thank you, Toastmaster Miranda Rumi and Toastmaster Jai Narayan, for your time, energy, for sharing your knowledge with us today, so we all can learn and improve ourselves as a trainer. I have nothing to give to both of you. I just want you to know that I really appreciate your time and energy. And I would like to give this certificate of appreciation to both of you. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Okay, that's for Jay.
Okay, for Jay, can Luis take a picture of both of us?
So give me your biggest smile, both of you. So 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Back to you, August.
Yes. Next, I would like to invite our distinguished Toastmaster Miranda Rumi. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Luis,
one more photo. So 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you.
Okay. Let me stop the sharing now. Thank you once again, Toastmaster Miranda and Toastmaster Jai. Also, thank you, Ling Ling, our MC, and Luis, our Zoom master. And thank you, the heart of Jai, Toastmaster Shyam. Thank you for your support. And last but not least, thank you all for joining this workshop. I realized that a 5-hour workshop doesn't make me a trainer instantly. I realized that I need to apply and practice all the knowledge that I got in this workshop in order for me to become a good trainer. I hope all of us can keep on practicing, giving training, especially in our club, so we will become a better trainer in the future. What's next? The next program, we are going to conduct the mentor workshop. Hello, Toastmasters, raise your hand if you ever become a mentor. I guess some of us, most of us experienced becoming mentor before, because mentoring plays a huge part in Toastmasters curriculum, and mentoring program gives huge benefit for our improvement. The benefit of the mentor program for mentors, for example, we can make full use of the mentorship experience and the relationship with the mentor. For the mentor, we can sharpen our skills to become a much better mentor. Also, like Jai said earlier, by sharing our knowledge repeatedly, we will retain those knowledge more. And we can improve our parenting skills with this program and many other benefits. We will learn that it takes not only, it takes a lot to become a good mentor. This is a 5-week program. We are going to pair you up with your mentee. The program will start from 31st of October to 28th of November, every Sunday. The time is 4 to 6 p.m. GMT plus 7 or 5 to 7 p.m. GMT plus 8. The spot is very limited. We only cater for 48 members for English, 16 members for Mandarin, and 8 members for Bahasa. And we all need to attend this all 5 training sessions to be eligible for Triple Crown. And also because there will be mentoring assignment with your assigned buddy in between session. So as you have noticed, we haven't sent out any invitation yet because we want to announce this as an early bird to reward you for coming to this from speaker to trainer workshop. So you can register yourself now by contacting the organizing chair, Ping Hendra. I will put the phone number of Ping Hendra in our chat box after this. So looking forward to see all of you in our incoming Mentor the Mentor program. So that is the announcement, and I will give the control back to our MC, Toastmaster Ling Ling.
Thank you very much, Agus. Well said, and a great ending to the speakers to trainer workshop. The road from a speaker to trainer is a long one, but I think we've just taken our first steps to become that much closer to our end goal. With that said, thank you so much for coming today. Please stay if you have any burning questions you want to address. But for those of you who have already asked your questions, stay tuned because your answers is just coming up right now. All right, I think we've got a first question from adventurous Anna, who dropped the question in the group chat before the break.
Ling Ling, I think you have to stop the recording and start a second recording, if I'm not mistaken, Miranda.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to close this session by stopping the recording now.